Welcome to the Lake Winona Spillway Show. As always, nothing's immediate, nothing's exact. You got to get there first. We're going to show you a map of how to leave the Cortez Gate and drive out the north side through the Talley community, Talley Cemetery and all this. Look at all the entities that you can see inside the village. There's Lake Lago, our water supply down at the bottom. There's Lake Cortez. There's Lake DeSoto above that. There's Jesseville. Ooh, in the upper top side, Iron Springs Roadside Park. The Copperhead Aid Station. I'll tell you more about that later. Oak Mountain and many, many more. We live adjacent to a beautiful national forest of 1.7 million acres of national forest. Now we're going to show you how to go down Warehouse 24,000, or what's known as East Main Hall Road. And we're going to go all the way up to the Lake Winona Spillway. Be forewarned, we're going to go to the Walnut Bottom Baptist or Walnut Bottom Church, and I don't think it's Baptist, but we'll see. We're going to take you on a tour of all this area, but please be patient. Please be forewarned. I'll try and tell you, hey, look ahead. If you have the patience of a gnat, some portions of this may be a problem. This is a long show. This is a lot of material. I don't know if it's because we're aging and we're just seeing the world in a different way, but Diane and I are struggling to capture the unbelievable beauty around Hot Springs Village and Garland County, Saline County. It is an exceptional place. Now, as any time, when you're going to begin on a journey, you always want to be able to drive out the gate, but before you go somewhere, you may need, gas? No, we're good on gas. Tang or cool drink? No. Oh, maybe we need a cool pop. Nah, I'm not saying that I'm going to get a beer and go off in the middle of the national forest and have a beer on the end of a unpaved road, but it's a beautiful day for it. It really is. So let's see what this guy does when he pulls up to the liquor store. And by the way, they have one of the cutest red dogs on the planet inside there. She's a little, I guess, setter mix. Red and white, very verbal. I said she, didn't I? Beautiful, beautiful dog and a sweetheart. I hope you don't mind. I'm just being funny here and taking a moment to show you what the spirits store looks like. Good spirits, and they're sweet, sweet people. Anyway, and they have water and cigars and all other kinds of things too. But we're going to come back out. We're going to turn left and drive north over Carmona. And we're going to go Carmona up to Barcelona, turn right onto Barcelona, and we're going to take you out of the village this way. If you say, hey, Dennis, I can get out of the village, I know where we're going, blah, 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 blah. Let me jump ahead. You probably want to jump ahead to 20, 22 minutes, something like that. This is the middle fork. This is the DeSoto golf course on the left-hand side, DeSoto Lake on the right-hand side. Yes, we've sped this up a little. We don't want you to have to endure me and truck noises and all this kind of thing, but we just want you to enjoy the beauty that is Hot Springs Village. This is Carmona. This is probably, or Calella. Yeah, Calella? Yeah, I think. This is the road that the four-way stop and the Shell station, Calella, I believe. And this is also where the police station, the fire station, everything is central. Everything on this west end of the village was actually built to be golf cart accessible. There's about 12.9 miles of golf cart paths on this end. People from the 70s, 80s, and 90s tell me of unbelievable summers when their parents or their grandparents would say, hey, Dennis, get in the golf cart and go down to the liquor store and pick me up a carton of cigarettes. You heard me. Yeah, we used to do that, people. That's exactly what we did. Nobody died anyway, but kids on golf carts, they were everywhere. This is where a lot of kids learned how to drive, to have a little bit of freedom, which today maybe, I don't know. Don't go there, Dennis. Okay, anyway, we're going to turn right on Barcelona and go past Barcelona Baptist Church. Some friends of mine there, and this is some of the townhouses here for the Hot Springs Village. This is part of the THA on both sides of the road here. Beautiful little townhouses and very, very economical area. And really just pretty as a picture. There's the church on the left-hand side. This next road could be a racetrack. It's curvy and twisty and windy, and the second left, not this left, but the next left, that's Paso. Paso is a subdivision that has absolutely no homes in it. I bet it probably has the better part of 70 to 100 home sites in it. It was a pristine Eden until the POA decided that they wanted to cut the timber off all their lots and the green space and kind of leave everybody else holding the bag, kinda. But nobody goes out there, so nobody knows. That land actually goes to the left, which is north, right up to the Primo Water Packaging Company. Yeah, that's right. Mountain Valley Water owns the land just outside the village to the right or left of this, to the north. To the right, south of this, is Lake DeSoto as we're going this way. Once again, absolutely beautiful area, as you can tell. And maybe I should have sped this up more. I don't believe I did. If you need to know the stats about Hot Springs Village, some of you may be just introduced to the village here. We are roughly 26,084 acres. We have roughly 32,000 home sites, 34,283 home sites, 287 subdivisions, and about, given the day, between 16,000 and 18,000 people, which is roughly... Well, they say it was designed for about 66 to 75,000 people based on the water supply and the abilities. We're going under the power lines right now that go down and bisect Lake DeSoto, very near our house, to be frank about it. But a beautiful day, beautiful place. We're actually on our way to the Cortez Gate, where we're going to go into the Talley or the Boudry area. Now, some people are going to say it's spelled Beaudry. It does look like Beaudry, but it's going to look like Boudry. To some people, a lot of French influences. Gazebo down south of us. Once again, we're still on Balearic, east and west at this time. 9 golf courses, 11 lakes, about 29 miles of hiking trails, 520 miles of roads. As I said, 287 subdivisions. This is a massive, massive, massive place, as you can tell. Pristine and beautiful. This was based on Hilton Head, South Carolina, according to Mr. Cooper. He said he went there. He loved how they had a row of trees everywhere, and then they built the homes behind that. So the homes had a secluded feel, and nobody was just right on the main road. About 25 years ago, I gave a friend some passes, and I said, well, go through the village and tell me what you think. Now, this is before GPS. And I said, what did you think? And now remember, to the right now is a golf course. To the left is a mountainous area. We're about to be at a golf course again, and a lake to the right. And but I asked my friends, I said, well, what did you like? What did you see? And they said, there was nothing there. It was just a bunch of trees. Now, if they had GPS in today's day, yeah, might be a little different. By the way, I've been notified that even out this far on this end, in this middle center, which is not that populated, they have strung hyperfiber, and there are customers with hyperfiber in here. Typically, Optimum covers nearly all of Hot Springs Village, and where they don't, hyperfiber is coming back in and double stitching it. That is Cortez Road to the right there that takes you down to Cortez Lake and the pavilion. We're going to turn left again onto Cortez Road. Church here on the right, beautiful. I believe that's Episcopal or Presbyterian Church Episcopal, I believe. I can actually, from my house over the lake, I can actually hear them play their carillon, their chimes on the hour during the daylight hours. And once again, another fun road. Cortez Road here would be a blast if there was nobody else and you just wanted to go fast. To the left, an area that is very underdeveloped, I would imagine. Where's this? Madarian, I think, is the name of the subdivision. To the right is the Cortez Golf Course, the Back Nine, I believe, yeah. And to the left, probably, I bet there's between 500 and 600 lots, maybe more than that, to the left of us, and there are, to my knowledge, 6 houses, maybe 7 houses. Some of them have phenomenal views out over the national forest, though. There's some real gems inside this area. We're going to be coming up to the Cortez clubhouse, which will be on the right. We'll come to, it looks like a 4-way stop, but it's not. And we're going to turn left, away from the clubhouse. Now, once again, a lot of people like to use this phrase, but I think Cortez is a hidden gem of all the 9 golf courses in the village. Cortez is, as you can tell, it's super lush, super beautiful, great place to get around. To the left, that road there has maybe 2 homes on it, 3 homes. To the right is the Cortez golf course. Just straight on ahead is the Cortez Town Homeowners Association, the Cortez Town Courts. Beautiful area. Coming up to the Cortez gates, these are remotely operated. There are cameras incoming and outgoing. For some reason, most of the outgoing gates, they don't require you to show your card, but for some reason this one does. So I had to stop here and wave my card and find my card for a minute. As soon as we cross this, we'll be going outside over a little low water bridge that I think you're going to find interesting. Those of you that know much about railroads, yeah, you're going to know exactly what this is. As we exit the gate here, you'll see that we're just going to go out through the path here. There's the unit that if you want to scan to get back in. A lot of people take their kids to school this way. This is actually the back way to Jessieville through Beaudry and the Talley area, the Talley Cemetery. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is technically still the village. Just because the gate was back there doesn't mean we don't own this property. Right about here, I believe it turns into county. And right about here, we're going to go over a lowboy. If you don't know what a lowboy is, this is a train car that usually just carried product that they wanted held very low on the train, so they don't hit a bridge or anything. They go over the top. That is the middle fork of the Saline River. Yeah, make note. We're going to be coming back to that. Those of you who know the Alum Fork of the middle of the Saline River, yeah, we're going to be coming back for you very soon. The right-hand side, just around the corner here, is a beautiful, beautiful, pristine. I'm always amazed what the country can sustain. It doesn't, if this was in a city, people would lose their mind. There would be vandalism everywhere. It would be tore up or whatever. In the country, people know how to take care of things. This right here to the right, that is the Talley Cemetery. And there's a sign up that says, call one of these 3 guys before you start digging here. Yeah, I guess so. Remember, Middle Fork of the Saline River is a federally protected waterway. And as you can tell, it made some pretty nice lowlands right here, or some little fields and pastures. There's a field and pasture over on the left-hand side. I will not give whose name it is back behind there, but they actually have kind of the best of both worlds. They actually have a property that has access inside the village, and they built their home accessing their land outside the village, where they have a big pasture and a lot of land adjacent to the middle fork of the Saline River. Brilliant, I think. Area to the right, I believe that's Green Bay Packaging, that used to be Weyerhaeuser, and they've recently cut that over. And you say, Dennis, that's kind of ugly. I agree wholeheartedly. It's not attractive. But I will tell you, that's been a year, maybe 2 years. The growth that's coming back, the deer, the fox, the bear, the elk, the panther, or the cougar. I think we have a mountain lion running around these parts, or an extremely large bobcat, which looks really weird to me. But that land on the right-hand side, when they cut that over, that's called an even aged, where it means they just clear cut it. They cut all the trees off of it. Many times they'll do what's called an uneven aged, and that is they selectively cut big trees off of an area, but on this one they did an even aged. On the right-hand side, you see a lot of brush, and you're thinking, why? Because that beautiful creek right there, I believe that is where we're going. If you get my drift, you'll see in a minute. That's the Alum Fork of the Saline River. Yeah, you're going to see why that's important in just a minute. And if you noticed in the map a minute ago, we're going to go north outside the village, a little bit west, and then we're going to turn hard back right to get on East Main Hall Road, which is also Weyerhaeuser 24,000. But it's been known as Main Hall Road for a long time. Now, if you go on up to Highway 7 and turn west and go left, you can actually, once again, passing that beautiful creek. By the way, this last fall, this bridge was underwater, to give you an idea of how high the water gets here. And once again, we're dancing along creeks on one side or the other all the way till we get out to Weyerhaeuser 24,000. Now, it's funny, Weyerhaeuser named the road Weyerhaeuser 24,000, but when Green Bay Packaging bought everything and changed it over to Green Bay Packaging, they didn't call it Green Bay Packaging 24,000 Road. Or gorgeous creek here on the right-hand side. The one-lane bridge coming up. Slow down, unlike I'm doing. Pull over and just sit and enjoy how beautiful this creek is on the right-hand side. So much of Arkansas is green and lush and just absolutely gorgeous. I'm a fan. Diane and I toured up through Pennsylvania and some other areas, and my dear beloved and past mother-in-law, she ruined all the good mother-in-law jokes because she was so sweet. Patsy Lemons, Diane's mom, she would always say them Amish. She loved to get them, that Amish butter. And I said, do you mean Amish? And she said, them Amish, yeah. I always thought that this part of Arkansas looked a lot like the Amish Pennsylvania area. So lush, so green, beautiful lawns. You don't see trash in the yard. You don't see dead cars. You don't see ugly mobile homes that are falling apart. You see some absolutely beautiful footage back this way. Now, if we follow this road all the way through, and we don't turn back as we're going to do in just a minute, but if we follow it all the way up and to the left, we would hit Main Hall Road, and we would turn left, west, and we would go on out to Highway 7, right before we get to the National Forest. Well, here's how this works. If you get to the left of Highway 7, the west of Highway 7, is this not gorgeous? If you turn to the left of Highway 7, then you're on West Main Hall Road. Yeah, I know. Pretty sophisticated, right? If you turn to the right, as we're going to in a moment, we're going to be on East Main Hall Road. And yes, I'm in our little black Toyota. We call him Yoda. And couldn't be happier to have found that little thing. A lot of fun. Very, very dependable. Heck of a car for 245,000 miles. Now, you're going to hear the occasional squeak in the video, but hey, it's a 2008, okay? Just cut it some slack, right? And I think I'm slowing down because, yeah, that was my turn. That was Main Hall Road. I kept thinking, boy, don't I need to turn there? So we're turning back on West Hall, or East Main Road, or East Main Hall, and Weyerhaeuser 24,000. And you think you heard a little squeaking before. Yeah, this is one of the major roads in the National Forest. You'll see a map a little while longer, but by the way, as I said, this is a longer program, and I appreciate your patience. If you want to skip ahead to the good parts, I would say you probably want to skip ahead to about 21 minutes at this time, and we're going to have a beautiful creek that we're going to do some drone work at. We're going to go up to the Walnut Bottom Church, and then we're going to go to that little graveyard, and then we're going to go on up to the Winona Spillway and show you the park. Now, this is a park. Yeah, a Little Rock park located inside of Perry County. Yeah, and you do occasionally see people here. Beautiful little area. In just a moment, we're going to speed this video up a lot so you can get more context of where we're going. This is mostly Weyerhaeuser or Green Bay packaging land. You'll notice that along the edge of the road on both sides where they're protecting the ditches, where they're protecting the waterway, and there's some pretty good sized ruts in there, by the way. Where they're protecting that, they'll have mixed deciduous. Out from that, they'll have what they would call production land. And by that, they mean it's typically all just pine or even age pine or plantation pine. Believe it or not, you may not believe this, but they actually are trying to grow square lumber. You heard me. You heard me. That they are trying to grow square lumber. Well, you got to cut less. You got less waste. Think about it. Not a bad idea. Now, what's the story with Lake Winona? It's north of the village. From the gate we went out of, as the crow flies, it's 11 miles. Now, it's about a 25-minute drive the way we're going to do it, but it's right at 11 miles. So what's the big deal, Dennis? As we said in one of our other shows, Lake Maumelle is this enormous lake west of Little Rock out by Pinnacle, and it is a beautiful place that's got a little state park nearby and just beautiful. But it is the water supply for roughly, based on how you define it, between 500,000 people and 750,000 people in the Little Rock, Conway, Greenbrier, all that area. That water supply system, the Little Rock or the Maumelle Lake supply system, goes everywhere. It actually goes up to a place called Reservoir Road in West Little Rock. Well, what happens if there's a damage to Lake Maumelle? What happens? Oh, yeah. Lake Maumelle, if Lake Maumelle were contaminated, Lake Winona would become the water supply lake, because there's an enormous tube that runs from Lake Winona all the way up to Reservoir Road in West Little Rock. So you say, how do you have a Little Rock Park in Perry County, Dennis? Well, it's pretty simple. They own the land that makes the lake. Now, the Corps of Engineers owns all the land around it. But as you can see, this is, and just in the background there, that is all national forest. That hill, those hills and everything, that's the foothills of the Ouachita National Forest. And, you know, is this my favorite spot? No, but it's about to be. This is a beautiful area that it grows and they cut it, and it grows and they cut it, and think of this as, to the timber company, this is farmland. They plant, quote, plantation vines. You see, well, there's dead trees on the right-hand side, Dennis. Yeah, you're not going to like this part of the story. They actually spike those trees to kill them, because those trees compete with what they want, which are pine trees. You say, well, that's not right. Well, it is their land, and they do get to do with it as they wish, for the most part. But when I was a kid, eons ago, they would clear cut right up to the street. They would clear cut right across the creeks. They would clear cut right across the rivers or whatever. It didn't matter to them. Well, now we know how to retain silt, to keep the silt out of the water. So within so many feet of the creek, they can't cut the trees. Within so many feet of the ditches, they can't do anything. Within so many feet of yada, yada, yada. So there's a lot of regulations. For being in the middle of nowhere and out in the middle of the forest, they have to abide by quite a bit of regulations. Now, I've kind of kicked it in gear here, and no, I am not driving 80 miles an hour on a gravel country road. But I just wanted to show you and give you kind of a setup for what all this is going to be. Again, this is a two-part show. I wanted to give you the idea of what it's like to drive from Hot Springs Village all the way to Lake Winona, drive around the lake, and then go from there all the way down back to Highway 7 to Iron Springs. Remember when I mentioned that a minute ago? Yeah, you're going to see why in a few minutes. It is a unbelievably, and by the way, I saw something down in the ditch and I had to stop and get a picture, and it really was pretty. I promise. It was beautiful down that way. Got a camera mounted on the front hood of the Yoda. I've got the drone in the back of the car. I've got my cell phone that I'll take pictures with now and then. If I'm not mistaken, I thought I saw a glimpse of a bear, but not confirmed. No confirmed sightings this time around. I strongly encourage and ask you, if you would please write your questions in the bottom. You say, well, Dennis, I've always wanted to know what Eureka Springs look like, or I've always wanted to know what this was like. We are doing our best to document this. We will not live forever. You will not live forever. YouTube will not be forever. But while we are where we are, and while we can, and in glorious Ultra 4K, we want to just see what this is like. Diane and I were talking the other day about what it's really like, and I got some pictures back up against the foothills of the National Forest there. Diane and I were talking about what's YouTube really like. And by the way, you, my friends, the ones that are watching this right now, fact of the matter is, you, yes, you, are the fastest growing audience for YouTube. People over 55, I think is some 42%. Have viewed more YouTube than they have in the last 18 months. In the last 18 months, have viewed more YouTube than they ever have before. Because the content on YouTube is, number one, so compelling. If it's something you like, oh my goodness, any interest you have. Underwater basket weaving, good Lord, it doesn't matter. They've got content for everybody, everything, every time. And to me and Diane, and pardon the inference, but it's kinda a little bit. See, I'm holding up my fingers real close together. It's a little bit like watching other families' home movies, except, you don't have to go over to their house and have the fondue. Are y'all old enough to remember that? Yeah, you are. You are. Okay, we're coming up to a piece of water here, and this is a gorgeous, beautiful little low water bridge. We did this in Diana's Lexus RX-4 350 about 3 or 4 years ago. And given my better draw knowledge, I probably wouldn't do that again. The bridge was underwater probably 8 inches, 10 inches. We didn't know how much at the time. But I had to do some research for this show. I was like, that beautiful little creek right before we get to the church, where is that? What exactly is that little creek? Yeah, it's going to all come together in just a minute. Because this, my friends, dun-dun-dun, he's hoping it all lines up in about the right time, is about to be, yeah, here we go. Yeah, I slowed it down. No, you say it's just more timberland, Dennis. It's kind of uneven pines, and it's green, and it's pretty, but, where did all the trees, oh, yeah, there's all the trees. And by the way, this part of the road's really actually quite good, but I love seeing the trees drape over the road. And right up here on the right is a little farm and homestead. They've got chickens, they've got barking dogs, you'll hear that. But this is the low water bridge for the Alum Creek, the Alum Fork, A-L-U-M, Alum Fork. And the bridge is a little rough too. But it's low water. It's designed to take a lot of abuse, and it does. But this is from the Alum Fork of the Saline River. Well, that's interesting. Because I learned something today. See, like that's what it looks like right there. I think it couldn't be any prettier. And there goes a little Yoda crawling across the low water bridge because there's big holes in the concrete. And this is the county maintenance, by the way. These are all county maintenance roads. So I thought, well, maybe it's time to whip out the drone and see where we really, really are. Now, we took 2 trips out to here, to Lake Winona, to get this footage. This one I was by myself, and my cell phone started working right about here for just a few minutes, but way back in the background, in Hot Springs Village and in Hot Springs, Diana was telling me that they were having one whale of a storm in Hot Springs and in Hot Springs Village. A lot of rain, some significant thunder, but no, just about 10 miles north, not a drop. Not even many clouds, actually. Oh, the lush, beautiful skies of Hot Springs and Garland County, maybe Perry County by now, baby. Wanted to do a little fly around to give you an idea of what we're looking at. In just a minute, I'm going to go back to the map and show you what exactly we're looking at and give you some more perspective of this area. Once again, this is something you can do in a sedan. I wouldn't encourage it in a low-slung sedan, but a normal car or certainly an SUV wouldn't have any problem with this at all. The roads are kept in very good shape. These are roads that people live on and drive back and forth every day. Look at the glory of Arkansas, if you would, my friends. Look at the beautiful mountains, the rolling hills, and this is, we're 2 miles from the Ouachita National Forest, maybe? And there's the little Yoda and me on the bridge down there. And there's the little farm I was telling you about. There's another one here on the right, down at the bottom. I bet that would make for good paddling based on the time of year. Like I said, when we were here 4 or 5 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, it was absolutely positively flooded, and the bridge was under a foot to a little bit more of water. Kind of dangerous, actually. Had my druthers, I would have rather done it in the Toyota with the lift kit rather than a regular SUV. So just be warned. But, you know, there's people, like I say, there's people that live out here, and this is not that far north where we are right now in this video. We're not that far north of the village. We're probably getting to where we're just north of DeMonte, maybe Granada, more like DeMonte, really, I bet. Because you're going to get a kick out of this. I just learned as I'm researching this show that Alum Fork of the Saline River, that we're looking at right there. See how it goes way up in there? Way up in there. That's because, my friends, yeah. God, that's beautiful. And once again, thanks for watching. Got any questions? Got any place you want us to go? Please, 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 I'd love an excuse. This is the Alum Fork. This is where the blue line goes across. That's the bridge. We're kind of spinning around that point right now. And there's some roads south of us. What is that? There's a county road back there. And there's another Weyerhaeuser road that goes north. Oh, that's Mount Ida Road. Yeah, that's not that far back. Okay, let's take another spin around. Yeah, let's do another little spin. Now, this is the way it would be coming from the village. You'd come up north. You come up the middle for the Alum Fork. You come on up a little further up the Alum Fork. Up, up, up. Oh, well, we're well inside the National Forest now. Oh, look, there's water up there. Oh, look, that's, yeah, look. Oh, that's, yeah. The water from the Lake Winona spillway actually feeds it adjacent. It supplements the Alum Fork. So anyway, we'll be there in a minute. This is the north side, and I'm going to shut up and let you enjoy it for just a minute. If you don't like it, skip ahead about 20 seconds. And then we're finishing up coming across the bridge. Once again, absolutely beautiful area, and this is just county roads that you and I should be enjoying every day. I'm going to zippy-doo-doo die it a little quicker here in just a minute to get back up to the church. We're going to the Walnut Bottom Church, which I don't believe anybody's actively been there in a decade or so. But remember me telling you about the Talley Cemetery? That nobody's messed with it, and there's a phone number and you call, and people kind of self-police the place, and they make sure that, nobody does anything stupid or messes it up or anything. Yeah, well, that's what the Walnut Bottom Baptist Church is like. And I'm not sure about Buffalo Gap. It may be the same way. And by the way, Lake Winona is 1,240 acres, so 1,240 acres, and it's the auxiliary water supply for Central Arkansas Water. And the land there is owned by either Central Arkansas Water or Little Rock. And again, beautiful, pristine. And a lot of this was actually made. There's the feller buncher. And if you don't know what a feller buncher is, I'll help you in just a minute with that. But the CCC, I believe, helped design this auxiliary water system. Now, you have to remember, they did this like 70 or 80 years ago. Why would Little Rock need an auxiliary water supply 70 or 80 years ago? That's because some of our forefathers had some great insight. By the way, a feller buncher is a huge caterpillar-like device that will actually grab the tree, saw it off at the bottom, rip the branches off of it, turn it sideways, rip it off, and cut it up into lengths so that we can put it on the pulpwood truck and carry it back out. Now, we're back on Buffalo Road now. We're about to be on Reform Road in here in just a minute. And yes, I've sped this up a lot. It's just a beautiful country road. And still, people take care of this area. It's nice. There's not trash in the yard. It's just a beautiful little Amish type area. Except when you get right up here and you have to take the truck out of four-wheel drive and put it back in. You're supposed to put it in four-wheel drive every now and then just to keep everything all lubed up, right? And I hope you get a chance to come up and see Walnut Bottom Church. It's really beautiful. And literally right on the way to the spillway, you have to drive past it. It scares you to know how fast I would have been going, right? Yeah. What is that? 100, 120? Yeah. So I was probably doing 30 or 40, and then I sped it up 400%. So zippity, zippity, zippity till we get to right here. And I know that is Reform because we're just about there. And once again, some of this is a little poorer road than others, but it's very easily maintained or very easily traversed might be the word, to get you back to where we need to go. And by the way, you said, Dennis, you're taking us way out in the woods. I'm going to take you from the village north and then east underneath Lake Winona, and then we're going to go north around Lake Winona, and then we're going to go all the way west back to Iron Springs. But you could easily turn right just right up here and get right back on Highway 9 and come back down to the village or go on to Pettigene, which is beautiful. So here we are. Yeah, at Walnut Bottom Church. Now remember, what was it, 10, 15 years ago? We had a slash and a terrible, terrible slew of people actually burning down old churches. Kentucky Missionary Baptist in Kentucky, here between here and Benton. Tragedy to see that go. It was a 120-year-old church. I think that's disgusting. I don't think people should do that. But you got to see this one. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now, to give you perspective, again, we've gone quite a long way, and we've traveled many, many, many miles at 400%. So I'm going to give you a map here in just a second that will give you some context. And this is set up as a community home, but really, I don't know that anybody's using it now, but it's still in great shape. People are taking good care of it. And here is Walnut Bottom Church, and you see the cemetery to the right. And we're looking north, so we're going to do a spin around. And I can do some of this with the drone, but I can't get as high. I'm not supposed to get as high. as the aerial shots here that Google can provide. And I'm giving you the shot here that you kind of zoom in, and it's the church and the cemetery, and that's Reform Road. And those of you that know about Reform Road watched our last show where we said don't do what we did, because Reform Road turns into a pig trail that's blocked off at the end of the road. So you don't want to do that. You just don't want to do that. You'll see in just a minute as I zoom further and further back and then kind of come up a little, there is the spillway. And there is, we used to go swimming at the bottom. I don't know why people aren't swimming there anymore, but we'll talk about that in a minute. And Reform Way, I don't know. That's a little dusty here. This is a beautiful old church here that I don't even know if they're using anymore. Diane and I came here about 4 years ago, and it's a amazing place. Sorry, I have to put the camera right on the window to look in. Probably what you would think of as a old-timey church house. Oh goodness, somebody broke out one of the windows. That hadn't, that's new. Not in a good way. There you go. This old church, hang on, and here you go, and the associated outhouse back there. Been here and stood the test of time. You're about to see why I wanted to come out here and show you this. So there's a beautiful old country church, Dennis. That's cool. What about it? Well, it's a cool cemetery. It's a historic cemetery where, there was a little building right here that they tore down, apparently. By the way, we're right in between a couple of storm showers. But this was a pretty important place, and it is still. This is of absolutely vital importance to the fine folks in Little Rock, Arkansas. And you'll see why very soon. 2016, some of these grave sites. 2012, 1967, Bean. Beautiful day. Yeah, it's hot, but really there's a thunderstorm down in the village on the south side of us, and there's one here on the north side of us at Lake Winona, which you're about to see. And the Woodmen Association of the World. If you're not familiar with this, the Woodmen of the World was an insurance company. And boy, they made a heck of a monument when you passed away. Harry A. Drennan, farewell, dear husband, 1916. That would be right after World War I, just to put this in perspective. So there's some recent stuff here, a lot of recent stuff here. But there's some older stuff, Dean's 1936, 37. Got a little pavilion here, a little meeting pavilion. 1910, born in 1840. Yeah, we were just inventing steam trains about that time. Just a beautiful, pristine area. Usually, you can't even hear the airplanes or anything above. It's just a real quiet piece. It's right on the corner, just on the south side of the Ouachita National Forest. And just a beauty. As if I need to tell you that. Let's see what it looks like from above, shall we? I hope you enjoy this drone work. I saw myself in the drone mirror as I was filming this and thought, hey, how did that? Oh, okay. Thought that was kind of funny. I hope that you can slow down a little like I need to and enjoy the beauty of places like this. One of my mom's favorite songs is The Church in the Wildwood. Come to the church in the wildwood, oh, come to the church in the dale. Yeah, anyway, beautiful, beautiful song. Beautiful, beautiful area. I got out and sat on the table there and flew the drone a minute, and I didn't want to leave. It's just a pristinely beautiful place. And I encourage you, if you get a chance, please, please, please drive up here and enjoy the beauty, the splendor that is basically the national forest and all the amenities nearby. Extremely peaceful. Didn't have a car go by the time we were there. Deer everywhere, lots of wildlife. It's a little paradise, I promise you. Actually, in some of these places, I feel a little guilty for talking. It's a sanctuary of nature. I love flying through the trees there too, and go up a little higher, and look, there's a lake just over those trees. And by the way, this is Reform Road, like I said last week, on the Don't Do What We Did tour. Reform Road turns into a very, very rough, difficult access road. But I thought you might see just how close we are. To the right-hand side there's the pump station and the pickup station for the 39-inch water main. Heavily reinforced concrete pipe that is 35 miles long and goes all the way back to Little Rock, Arkansas, from Perry County, Arkansas. Technically, we're in Perrin, but it's what they call a large-scale transmission line from Lake Winona, connecting Lake Winona to Little Rock, 35 miles long. Now we're going to go back to a map in just a moment to give you more orientation as to where we are. And I find it interesting that the south side of Hot Springs Village, Arkansas, just happens to have parts of the Alum Fork outside the Balboa Gate. So this little piece of water that comes from the back of the spillway here goes all the way down. If I'm not mistaken, it goes on down to the Washita River eventually, and the Washita goes even further down to the Mississippi. You can see here's the spillway, there's the area, there's the park right there, and the park is a very WPA 30s kind of thing. Right there's the main intake for the park. We'll have some more video of that in a minute. And there's a spillway, and I thought the bridge was up there, but it's not. There's a little footpath, a great little bridge, and that park on the other side is just for your enjoyment. Beautiful during spring and summer days. And that is the access path that you walk across that takes you back to that other side. They've got picnic tables. They had a massive oak tree over there, but they lost it this last year. But this gives you an idea of the 1,240 acres of Lake Winona. And I'm doing a spin around here to give you the concept of, okay, there's Reform Road, there's National Forest, 116 or something like that we're going to be on in a minute at the next episode. And just to give you a feel for where we are and where we came from, there's 114, yeah. And Diane and I took 114 back over to Iron Springs. And in just a minute, you're going to see the Flatside Wilderness area. You're going to see the Crystal Mountain Vista. All these things are just within a few miles of Lake Winona. It's the center of this part of the National Forest. There's the creek trailhead up there, Lake Sylvia, Brown Creek Shelter. By the way, on the Washita National Trail, there are shelters where you can spend the night. One of them just happens to be called Rattlesnake Ridge. I don't think I don't know, but and there's another one called Copperhead. But let's not dwell on that, shall we? There's the Flatside Wilderness area, the Flatside Pinnacle Trailhead, where we were last week. And we've got some more footage, an upcoming show from that. But like I say, there's shelters up and down the entire Washita National Forest Trail, the National Trail as they like to call it. But I wanted to give you an idea of where kind of the lay of the land. And we're going to drive north on the next show. We're going to just drive north back on that road. And here is, just the low water bridge and what it looks like from our side. If you continue on this road, You may or may not be blocked. I've seen it blocked before because it basically goes into the wilderness area. Once again, I'm going to make a recommendation to my friends and family that you need to get the good map at the Jesseville Ranger Station, which is $20. It's milerized. It's probably 30 by 40. It's massive, but it has every part of the 1.7 million acres of the Ouachita National Forest that goes about 65 miles into Oklahoma. Yeah, we're going to have to do that. I know. I've never been to that part. I need to see it. Here we're going to walk back across the actual spillway. Probably, has it been 10? It's probably been 15 years ago. I would come and the water would be pouring over that spillway, and kids, some had had helmets on, some had football helmets, some had nothing, but they would have reinforced jeans or slacks or whatever, and they would come sliding down like it was like an enormous water slide. Now we're just kind of turning around and sliding back out into the lake or into the forest. And I'm giving you an idea here. So this is what it's like to set up a shot. You saw the video at the very beginning. Pretty clever, Dennis and Diane standing there waving or posing while the drone comes past. Yeah, that doesn't just happen. It takes some work to get it lined up. You got to get all the symmetry, and there may or may not be a CPA in this photo that really likes symmetry and wants her picture all just squared up, left and right. And I don't understand what the status is right now. This little pond area right here, which is just beautiful and pristinely clean. There used to be kids that would come out there and swim and play in that all the time. I don't know what's happened. There was a sign up at one time by Game and Fish that it was posted that they didn't want people there. And by the way, that white tube there right ahead of you is the intake line for the 35-mile pipe that goes back into Little Rock. That big tree on the left-hand side doesn't look like it's there anymore, which that was kind of sad. And this had been just a couple of months ago. Look at the storm way back in the distance. I got a note before I headed out here. Now, the NF-114 goes across the north side of the lake there. We're looking at it on the right-hand side. And there was a sign there that said, "Do your boat drop off here," right? So I'm in the Yoda. I don't think anything about it. So big deal, right? I just need to drive the Yoda across the way, right? Yeah, well, I surely wouldn't be taking a big boat, and I guarantee you I wouldn't be taking a party barge over there, because the only thing you're going to get over there is a John boat. It's tough to get there, but Lord knows it is worth it. It's beautiful. The Lake Winona Spillway area. In the next episode, we're going to have more footage from the park. We're going to show you what it's like to walk around the park. I'm going to fly the drone around. Come back and see us next week